this is Jo from Maths Tutor Me. Today we're doing equations and we're going to be doing some word problems today. So we've learned a lot of different skills and strategies to solve equations in the last few lessons that we've done. Today we want to apply all those skills that we've learned to solve word problems, more practical problems. So here are some steps to help work your way through it. First of all, step 1, write the word problem out as an equation. Okay. Step 2 is to solve the equation. 3, check that your solution works. And 4, write your solution with words. Okay. So let's have a try of that for question 1. Leah has a bag of lollies that she shares among 4 people. Each person receives X lollies and there are 2 left over. If there were 34 lollies in the bag, how many will each person receive? So first of all, step 1, we want to write the word problem as an equation. In here it says, she shares her lollies among 4 people. Each person receives X lollies. So if each person gets X lollies and there's 4 people, if I went 4 lots of X or 4 times by X, that would tell me how many lollies go to all the people. Then it says there are 2 left over. So plus 2 of the leftover ones gives us a total of 34 lollies. Okay, so that's the equation that represents this word problem here. Now, step 2, we want to solve the equation. So by balancing and doing the same to each side of this equation, we can find out what X is equal to. So I'm going to subtract 2. 4x will be equal to 32. And then get rid of this 4, divide by 4. X is equal to 8. Okay, so we've solved it. We've found out that X is equal to 8. Does 8 actually work? Well, let's have a think. This is step 3. We're checking the solution. If there was X lollies, each person gets X lollies, and 4 people get those X lollies, which is 8. So we have 4 lots of 8, which is 32, plus 2 leftover lollies makes 34, which is 34 lollies in total. Okay, so our solution here does work. Now, X was a pronumeral that we used to represent the number of lollies. We also should write at the end what this X equals 8 represents. So we can write down each person receives 8 lollies. Okay, that's what that actually means. Let's try the process again for question 2. The sum of 2 consecutive whole numbers is 75. What are the 2 numbers? So it says, hint, let the smaller number be n. So we're going to use n as our pronumeral in this question. So 2 consecutive numbers. Consecutive means 2 numbers that are right after each other. So 6 and 7 are 2 numbers right next to each other. They would be consecutive numbers. Now we don't know what either number is. So if the first number is n, the next number needs to be the next number along. It needs to be 1 bigger, which would be n plus 1. That's how we could represent that. Now it says the sum of the 2 numbers. So I need to add together my n and my n plus 1. So they're my 2 consecutive numbers added together. Gives a total of 75. Okay, there's my equation. To solve the equation, first of all, I need to collect these up. N plus n is 2n plus 1 is equal to 75. Now let's solve it by doing our inverse functions, minus 1, minus 1. 2n is equal to 74. And then we divide by 2. N is equal to 74 divided by 2, which is 37. Okay, now remember that n was a letter that we've just used to represent something. We want to actually make sure that we've answered this question, which is to write our solution with words. So that means that therefore the 2 numbers are 37 is the first number, that's the n. And remember that this was our second number, n plus 1, which means one more than this would be 38. So the two numbers that we're talking about are 37 and 38. And you can check that on your calculator. 37 plus 38, that equals to 75. So two consecutive numbers that add to give 75. Question 3, we have a diagram. We have a rectangle here. Opposite sides are equal. This side's 4 centimeters and x for that one. And we're told that the perimeter is equal to 34 centimeters. If we're talking about the perimeter is adding up all the sides. So for this rectangle, I have an x, I have a 4. This side would be the same as that one, so that would be another x, and this would be another 4, which is equal to a perimeter, so adding all the sides up, the perimeter is 34. Adding these together, collecting them up, we can go x plus x is 2x, and 4 plus 4 is 8, is equal to 34. Now we can solve the equation. So let's subtract 8 from both sides. 2x is equal to 26, and we can divide by 2. X is equal to 13. Okay, so x is equal to, x is the value that I was given. So I don't really need to write that one in words. I can check it though. So I can type in 13 plus 4 plus 13 plus 4 for adding up my sides does give 34. Okay, the solution works. Okay, so here are 3 questions for you to try. Pause the video, try these 3 questions, and then restart the video to see the answers. In question 1, it says Hannah plants 8 roses in 8 rows. There are n rose plants in each row and 96 rose plants in total. How many plants are in each row? So to write this down as an equation, we have 8 rows of plants and there are n rose plants in each row. So that means we need to multiply the 8 rows. Each row has n plants. And we're told that there is a total of, which means that's equal to 96. Okay, let's solve the equation by dividing by 8 to both sides. N is equal to, and if you go 96 divided by 8, we get 12. So that means, therefore, that there are 12 plants in